4 years, you know the names. Wilbekin, Prather, Yeget, and Young. And then Michael Frazier, the sharpshooter on the outside for Billy Donovan's Gators. And for Frank Hayes, Missouri Tigers. Jabari Brown, sensational game yesterday. He did foul out. Ernest Ross had a huge first half. Jordan Clarkson, we already showed you some of his play from yesterday. And it's on the post, Keanu post, and Jonathan Williams. All set to go. Tony Green's got it in hand. Antonio Petty and Lee Cassell, our other officials. Game 1, quarterfinal Friday. Here we go.
At Florida State at home yesterday afternoon, practice, waiting to see who their matchup was going to be. I expect Florida to come out early with the gas pedal down.
Frazier trying to get it down low to Yeget, kicked and out of bounds, and Florida starts with a turnover.
And Florida also starts with a full court pressure. That's a sign that Billy Donovan says, I want to be the aggressor in this ball game. We're playing to play for an overall #1 seed on Selection Sunday.
And they seem to be able to do this all day long and never tire of it. They will grind you to death on defense. That's been the MO for Florida this year. Here's Jabari Brown and Clarkson on top. Ross swings it to the baseline, 6 to shoot, and it's Ross opening up just like he did yesterday.
Yeah, all the touches on the guards of Missouri. And those 3 dudes can play with anybody in the country. Talking about Ross, Clarkson, and Brown.
Ross had 24 yesterday, and he had a couple of quick threes, and Florida's got a couple of quick turnovers. And now Wilbekin saved what probably was going to be a transition bucket.
The pursuit defense from behind of Florida is relentless. And against this Gator team, Brad, you cannot keep the ball on the same side in transition more than 2 bounces.
Well, Missouri, we saw them do this yesterday. And they want to get the ball in bounds. They don't care if they throw it 80 feet. In fact, they threw it about 90 one time yesterday just to get it in to play. Williams with a spin pass inside to post. He'll bring it back out. Straightaway jumper is too long. But those long arms of the guards of Missouri have the rebound. And then they walk with it. It's Missouri's first turnover.
I think we'll see a heavy dose of Missouri in their zone defense today with Frank Hayes. The reason why Michael Frazier, the only real proven, consistent 3-point shooter that Billy Donovan puts on the floor. You might have to stretch out to Wilbekin a little bit. At the bottom line, Missouri man-to-man, they're not a good defensive man-to-man team.
We saw Frank Hayes and his record in his 3rd year at Mizzou, 3 straight 20-plus win seasons. They're 22-10 coming into this one. If you don't know, Florida's on a 23-game winning streak at 29-2. Wilbekin in traffic with the left hand. Off the mark, and Clarkson's trying to push it.
That's Florida all season long. They will turn down an early 3 to try to drive the ball like Wilbekin did to the front of the rim.
Tough rebound for Michael Frazier off the Ross miss. Trying to get it into Patrick Young, and that's just a lazy pass by Prather.
Yeah, Frazier's a designated shooter. He's not good with his ball skills off the bounce or off the pass.
And Missouri gives it right back. Wilbekin trying to run with Prather, and he'll back it out. Patrick Young touches it for the first time. The big man crossing the lane will go to the free throw line. Billy Donovan has already got 2 national championships on his resume. Has got a #1 ranked team again and a #1 seed, we assume, regardless maybe of what goes on here in the SEC tournament. But back-to-back championships in 06 and 07, and this team's got the makings of it, don't you think, Jimmy?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a club that they won the SEC by 6 games. They've won 23 straight. Their scoring margin in the 18 SEC games was plus 13 points. They have been punishing people. And again, top 25 offensive and defensive efficiency teams. That's what the national champions have as a common thread. Florida right now fits that equation.
The first major conference team to go undefeated in regular season league play since Indiana in 1976. 18-0. It doesn't get any better than that. SEC regular season champions, and they got their regular season trophy from Commissioner Mike Slive about, there you see it, about 20 minutes before the tip tonight. The whole team was out there with a trophy. And Coach Donovan, but they want a lot more. They want to cut the nets down here and then cut the nets down in Dallas.
It is very difficult to run ball screen action against Florida because they are the best in the country at running ball screen action themselves. Therefore, they know how to take it away from you. I like what Ross did with a ball screen. He rejects it, drives baseline, and that's what we're talking about.
That's just one piece of hardware. They want to get one more here on Sunday and then one more on a final Monday.
Absolutely. I've said it all year long, 4 really cool seniors in Wilbekin and Prather and Young and Yeget. What do I mean by cool? I mean they get it. They are all about team. They're all about giving up their body. The highlight of the season for me was a play by Patrick Young at Tennessee as a senior to dive and close out a close ball game.
This guy has been Missouri's spark plug to start the last 2 games. Ernest Ross 5, Florida 1.
All man-to-man so far by Missouri, but you know that zone's coming at some point. Frank Haith will probably stay with his man as long as he has the lead and feels like his team's in a rhythm.
Devin Walker short on a 3, but the rebound comes right back to him. Wilbekin will try a triple of his own. Got it.
Brad, that's the lack of discipline I see from Missouri in their man defense, to fly out at the shooter and not get back in to take away the second look.
Now Wilbekin almost had a steal in the backcourt.
Brad, to me, Florida's press is not a real aggressive get-over stretch press. They give you nothing. They give you nothing on the back end of the press.
Clark in there now at the points. Ross has done all the scoring for Mizzou so far. This guy can score at will when he gets going, and that one almost went. Wilbekin with a foul, and Jabari Brown's going to go to the free throw line for a couple. Those are the 2 guys we highlighted in the open. Jabari Brown coming off a 26-point game yesterday, though he did foul out, but he spent the entire day at the free throw line. 14 out of 18 from the stripe. And Missouri as a team shot and made more free throws than any SEC tournament ever.
Yeah.
That's why we were here for 3 hours.
Absolutely. Brad, that play right there, Scotty Wilbekin, who I think is the best defensive point guard in the country, taking on Jabari Brown. So that was best versus best. An advantage goes to Missouri. So that not only gets Jabari Brown to the free throw stripe, it sends a little bit of a message now from Missouri to Florida. Our best just won the battle against your best.
So now it's Hill in for Wilbekin. Frazier, they know of his ability. Hit a record number of 3s a couple of weeks ago. Yeget tried a little hook pass, and that also ran in to some quick hands of the Missouri defense. Another Florida turnover. They almost gave it right back. Clarkson, 3. There's going to be a foul on the rebound. That's going to be on Rosberg, trying to battle for the board. Scotty Wilbekin from the outside. Only field goal for Florida so far. They trail by 3.
Well, Embiid and all the criticism about him not being aggressive and not being strong around the rim, those things have gone away. And that Kansas team with Embiid back on the floor, you could argue they're right there with Florida, Wichita State, and different teams are capable of winning that whole thing.
Little different look right now. Wilbekin and Hill are both out there at guard for Florida. They don't have Patrick Young on the floor, so it's Yeget, the biggest guy, out there for the Gators.
Florida already with 4 turnovers in this ball game. That's not who they are. They've only averaged 11 in conference play. They run a very clean offense. But the Missouri energy level, activity level, and hand level around the ball so far has bothered Florida.
And you know what? That kind of amazes me. I realize these guys are 18 to 22 years old or whatever, but they played for 3 hours yesterday, and they're playing with a lot of energy right now.
Absolutely they are. They're playing loose, and they're playing, they know they have an opportunity right now, I think, to lock up their bid to the NCAA if they take this thing down the next 2 hours.
Great defense by Yeget, and then Rosberg pushed him off. So he not only got the steal, he got the second foul on Rosberg.
Florida doesn't just trap you, they trap the life out of you. They get high with their hands, they don't break the principle of verticality, and they clamp you off, especially at that short corner.
See if Florida gets it in Frazier's hands. He's guarded by Jabari Brown right now, but they'd like to get him a clean look, I would think. Your best shooter. Well, not when you can do that. You get underneath, but he missed in close and was fouled.
Florida, Brad, they are so good at setting the ball screen in the pro slot at 45-degree angle, and then they go to work. The reason why that's so effective, the point guard can go either right or left. And Russell Westbrook is as good as there is in the NBA in that pro slot, and Billy Donovan sets a ton of them.
Ready to do the Gator chop if he hits this free throw, and he does. Don't have quite as many rowdy reptiles in here as we do at the O-Dome. Good crowd, though. A lot of blue and a lot of orange, and there'll be a lot of blue later when Kentucky plays tonight. You get that one or two. And Tony Green with a whistle out near midcourt. I'm not sure what that was about. I still don't know. Frank Haith doesn't know either. Apparently a lane violation from the outside. Maybe Jonathan Williams, I guess. Antonio Petty wasn't the guy that made the call. Tony did, so he saw something. Antonio didn't. So you gets another opportunity. Missed it anyway, but Frazier had his hands on it and then lost it as well.
But I think you have to move Florida defensively before you get to your ball screen action.
Oh, nice hook pass inside to Williams. But again, you get just fighting defensively.
Brad, that's who Florida is. They're always going to be the aggressor on the defensive end of the floor. Now, how does that equate to X's and O's? They trap the ball every time it goes to the low block, and they do it 3 different ways. This time it's the closest big comes over, so it's more of a monster action. They can back trap it, and they can also scrape down from the closest guard. But they stay aggressive when that ball gets to the low block.
Brown going to take it over. Not a good shot. He thought he could take it and maybe draw the foul on Wilbekin. Didn't work out for him. Patrick Young, hook shot. He's worked hard on that over the years. Did he tip it in himself, or was it was Finney Smith?
Yeah, Finney Smith made the pass to the left side of the rim and then immediately shot to the right side of the rim to cover up for the miss.
Finney Smith, the 6th man of the year in the SEC, as Florida wrapped up virtually every award there was in the Southeastern Conference this year. Almost turned over.
Brad, no change of possession, so it's a short clock for Missouri.
Yeah, only 6 to shoot right now. Clarkson's going to go straight up with it and did a nice job with it.
He's a little bit better with his left than what people realize. He's got that little floater when he has to go towards that left palm.
And it helps when you're 6'5". The floater doesn't have to float as far.
It does not.
Mizzou by 2. 7 minutes in.
Very unselfish defensive squad. We talk about unselfishness on the offensive end. Florida, they cover up for mistakes as well as any team I've seen in college basketball this year.
There's a double team momentarily on Jabari Brown. He's going around everybody. Putback is good by Torrin Jones.
I think that's the biggest issue with Florida. When Brown and Ross and Clarkson probe the defense and get the ball up on the rim, they make you over-rotate. Can you keep Missouri's bigs off the glass?
Well, fight over the ball over there. Wilbekin ends up with it for 3.
So good, so important. You know, Michael Frazier's going to knock down about 42% of his 3-point shots. Scotty Wilbekin has to be the next guy in line.
Scotty Wilbekin has taken 2 shots, good for 6 points.
Down in the action is Florida on the ball screen, not letting that ball get reversed. They can down it, they can hard hedge it, and then down it again, all within the same possession, a mature group.
Wow. Clarkson had a great step on Frazier, but he missed the reverse layup. He went around everybody. Great looking move, just couldn't finish. Hill. Not sure that's the shot Billy Donovan's looking for. And as we get a TV timeout, he's probably going to let his guard know that. I'm pretty sure that's the discussion coming up. 11:57 remaining first half. 1-point game. Up next, that's on ESPN2. Tonight, Syracuse and NC State at 6 on ESPN. And Duke and Clemson tonight at 8. Clemson had to go an extra session to beat Georgia Tech last night.
Brad, let me give you two teams I don't trust, Iowa and Oklahoma. Let me give you two teams I do trust, Louisville and Virginia. This is, I think, the biggest concern for Florida in this ball game is the ability of Brown, Ross, and Clarkson to drive the ball and watch as Jones comes up to set the ball screen. After he sets the ball screen, Patrick Young has to get attracted to the basketball, and now Torrin Jones is allowed to rim run right down the middle part of the floor for the offensive rebound. That, to me, is the biggest problem for Florida in this ball game. The ball screen, the big guards able to get the ball up on the rim, allowing the bigs of Missouri to be offensive in this game.
Here's a full court pressure again by the Gators. And right now, one-man pressure being applied by Casey Prather on Clarkson. They work it around the perimeter. Clark with 8 on the shot clock. Clarkson might just do this himself. Fades from the corner and got it. Clarkson's got 4. He had 12 yesterday. Patrick Young, the big man, did the double team. He got it to Prather in traffic, and Prather's going to go to the free throw line.
The last play for Missouri occurred right in front of Florida's bench. And look what Jordan Clarkson does. Hold it right here, guys. 4 fingers down now. 4 fingers down is sending the message in this ball game. 4 fingers down means a 1-4 flat for me. I'm going to go one-on-one and trust my size to get a shot off. They're not going to bring a ball screen up on the 4 fingers down action. The message has been sent. Florida now knows what it is.
It was actually 2 fingers down and 2 more taped together.
Yes, but 2
there
plus
are 4
2,
fingers there.
Using my toes is still 4 down.
That Arkansas education.
Pays off, man, I'm telling you. Oh, the Razorbacks, says, what a missed opportunity, huh?
I guess.
All they had to do was go win at Alabama the last Saturday of regular season and beat South Carolina on neutral floor, and they would have stamped their ticket to the big dance.
And they didn't either.
They didn't either.
Clarkson might have rushed that a little bit, but his big man picks it up underneath and draws a foul.
Well, Frank Hayes loves what he's getting out of Jonathan Williams III and Keanu Post and Torrin Jones. They know that they're going to score in this ball game. It's off of energy, hustle, go get the ball off the boards, and they have totally bought in the first 9 minutes of this game.
Post has started yesterday and today. That was a deviation from pretty much a lineup that Frank Hayes had used all season long. Big guy's not a big scorer, but he is a big body. Junior, I should say. Came out of Southwestern Illinois Community College. 6'11", 255, so he takes up some space.
He does. And if you don't have take-up space guys against Florida, they're going to take up your space.
Missouri by 2. 9 minutes in. Wilbekin running the point now again. I don't think Frazier's taking a shot, has he?
He's being covered up with some size. You know, all those perimeter players are 6'5".
And Patrick Young, some of his hook shots are not working either. That might be due to the size of the Tiger defense. He's having a hard time getting around Post and Williams. And Yaget's going to pick up his 2nd foul. Florida's got some issues right now. Devon Walker came in to play considerable amount of time off the bench. He's got 2 fouls, and now Yaget's going to probably have to sit with 2 fouls. Young will sit with him.
But what does Billy Donovan have off of his bench, Brad? He's got 3 guys in Chris Walker, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Casey Hill that would be starters. They would be starters for a lot of teams in that NCAA tournament.
Well, Chris Walker made his debut for Florida in the regular season game and drew a huge ovation when he took the floor. Ended up with 4 points and a couple of rebounds. He's now playing in the middle. The big McDonald's All-American. Here he is defensively. I don't know if he got a hand on that or if Post just lost it on the bounce. Halfway through the first half, Florida down 2.
Walker's so much better defensively now than he was 2 weeks ago. He was helping and recovering and talking and then covered up his guy very well.
Wilbekin will try another 3. And that's 3 for 3. And that puts Florida back in front for the first time.
Puts them in front and puts their 3rd version of their press on. They've been full court man-to-man. They've been 2-2-1. Been a little bit of a relaxed pressure zone look.
Ross inside. Nice layup off the window.
Brad, I'm going to ask you. Scouting report on Missouri's 3 guards. What direction do they want to drive the ball?
To the right.
To their right.
And they do it beautifully because they're built like football players. At least 2 of them are.
Absolutely.
Ross and Brown are.
Now, the good ones can get to their spot regardless of what you do to them defensively.
Prather, that's not his shot, but Walker pulled it off the backside if he can hold on to it. Fresh shot clock. Wilbekin's going to take his time. Straight up. Finney Smith for 3.
Starters off the bench. The great teams have them. And that's what Billy Donovan has when he goes to his back pocket.
So the Gators have 4 threes and only 1 2-point field goal. And they lead by 2. Here's Ross trying to answer. Not quite as hot as he was at the beginning of yesterday's game. Heat check. In and out for Finney Smith that time.
Brad, you cannot take guarded shots against Florida. They're too good defensively. You've got to make them move and make them work, and Ernest Ross has to know it.
This time he powers his way in, missed the shot. Finney Smith, who's the leading rebounder for the Gators, even though he's not a starter. And finally, they get a look for number 20. And Michael Frazier knocks it home.
As soon as that ball hit the net, Frank Haith had his hands up, signaling for a timeout. A Florida team that can get on an 8-9-0 run as good as anybody in the country.
They're on a 9-2 run right now, partner, and that caused Frank Haith to come out of his seat with a timeout. Florida, in past years under Billy Donovan, always known as a 3-point shooting team. Not so much this year. First half of this game, yes, Wilbekin 3 times from out there. Finney Smith, give him a try. Bottom of the net. And then the guy you really got to look out for is number 20, because when he gets on, he can do what he did to South Carolina when he knocked down 11. So the Gators have 5 threes, and they lead by 5.
Although Florida has had some turnovers, and they kind of cleaned that up after the first 3 or 4 minutes, the ball has been hot. Look what Florida's 3-point shooting has been this year, down at 116. The ball screen action in 2011 and 12 set them up to make threes. When they won the national championship, Billy Donovan's ball screen action set them up to throw the ball inside to Horford and Noah and the guys.
Right.
This year, their ball screen action is designed to reverse the ball and drive it, but they can still make threes when they have to.
21-16, Florida on top. Just under 8 minutes remaining in the first half. Shannon talked with Billy Donovan during the break.
You guys had the turnovers early, but have been able to put some offense together. What adjustments have you made that have been the biggest difference makers?
Well, you know, I think obviously not playing for a week, different venue, different environment. Hopefully our guys will respond. I've tried to get a lot of guys, at least their feet wet, to keep playing. We just got to keep on battling. I think our defense has been pretty good, but as you mentioned, we didn't get off to a real good start offensively. We had 4 turnovers, really. I think 4 of our first 7 possessions. So you're not even giving yourself a chance to score. But hopefully we can settle down and do a little better executing.
Thanks, Billy.
Thank you.
Coach almost came up with our graphics for us there. They did start with 4 turnovers in the first 7 possessions and trailed by 3. But since then, despite the fact they're not scoring inside, they're scoring from the outside. 5 threes already, and 4 out of 6 from the free throw line. And they lead 21-16.
Right, they haven't had a turnover in the last 8 minutes.
Right.
And that's who Florida, they are a clean offensive team.
I love what Billy said to Shannon right there, too. I tried to get as many guys in there to get their feet wet. It's the SEC tournament. You're playing in the Georgia Dome. It's not the O-Dome. It's a whole different look to it. Whether you practice here or not, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
And they haven't played in a week, or almost a week.
Florida is also unique, Brad. They are just as good in their zone as they are in their man. They're just as confident in their zone as they are in their man. Very few teams I can say that about across the college landscape.
And Ross lost it, but it's last touch by Finney Smith.
I think
or are we going to have Lee Cassell's coming over? We might turn this around. We do.
That ball just exploded out of Ross's hands. And you've got to make that defense move.
Yep. He did lose it.
Yeah, good job by Finney Smith to get his hands high and his feet hot.
Finney Smith, you think of as a really good scorer off the bench, over 9 points, and a really good rebounder. They're leading rebounder, but he can play defense too. I guess for Florida, if you don't play defense, you're probably not going to play anyway.
Well, here's the zone that I think Missouri would love to have go their way.
Walker, hook shot. Battle for the rebound. Wow. Everybody's hitting the deck. Comes out to Florida.
Or the effort by a 6'10 freshman to get on the floor and keep the ball alive gives Florida another possession.
Boy, Wilbekin had a thought because he hasn't missed yet from outside the arc. Prather got stuck in too low, and Missouri with a rebound.
You short closeout on Prather. He's a two-bounce guy to the rim. You run Frazier off the three-point line. You guard those two guys completely opposite ways.
Boy, Jabari Brown is drawing a crowd every time he touches it. Clarkson's going to try three. Post, nice job to tip it, but he tipped it right to Hill. And Hill, a little bit out of control, but he drew a foul. The foul's going to be on Clarkson. Our bracket looks like this. Second game, Tennessee. South Carolina's been the surprise so far. They've won 2 games to get here. Kentucky, the number 2 seed, and LSU at 7 o'clock tonight on SEC TV and ESPN3. And Georgia and Ole Miss, the nightcap tonight, probably about 9:15, depending on how everything else goes during the course of the day. And Georgia not getting any love, as Mark Fox said he's tired of hearing about the Big Blue Nation. He said they call it the Georgia Dome. The Dogs are kind of the forgotten thing in here, and they played probably the last 2 months of the season as well as anybody except maybe Florida.
They have in this league. The problem with Georgia, they didn't get enough work done in the non-conference.
Right.
The reason why they had lost Contavious Caldwell-Pope. So for the first 5 or 6 games, he was trying to find his offense. Then he had to find his defense. By then, they were 6-6 in non-league play. But they will not be an easy out on this neutral floor because of the style that Mark Fox gets the ball around the rim. You have to do it.
That's got to be a foul, doesn't it? They're just going to call it a 10-second call. So the 10-second came before what would have been a foul. There's what Mark was talking about. Sick of hearing about Catlanta. It's a Georgia Dome. I could care less. They got a great fan base. They really do, but want our fans to root for us. That's all we need. And I'm sure there'll be a ton of red and black in here tonight for that last game on quarterfinal Friday. Florida gives it right back. Turnover for turnover. Clarkson and Hill. I don't know who's going to come up with this. Ross finally saved it about 92 feet down court.
How would it be to have a body like Ross and be able to have the foot speed to outrun Casey Hill? I mean, Ross to me should be the defensive player in this league because of how I just described him.
Well, that was some hustle. Jabari Brown up and in.
That is the hope for Missouri. That Brown, Clarkson, and Ross, when he has an angle, can make those kind of plays because they can make hard shots. They might go left to set you up to come back right, but they're coming back to the right, and they can make hard guarded shots. Jabari Brown to start the season, Brad, was a three-point specialist and take it all the way to the rim. He now has that floater game at 6'5". That's very hard to guard.
And he got the three-point play. 5 for Jabari.
One of the quietest, coolest, calmest, toughest guys in college ball is Jabari Brown.
Talked to him briefly after the game yesterday. He was pretty drained. He fouled out of that game, but he had 26 points and hit 14 free throws. And that was the difference in the ball game at the very end.
Florida goes an 8-minute stretch without turning it over. Now they've turned it over twice in the last 90 seconds.
That was a nice move to the bucket. Ross just couldn't finish on the reverse layup. 5 minutes remaining first half. Florida by 3. Patrick Young, they'd like to get him feeling good about that hook shot, but that'd be even better, I guess, if you get Michael Frazier 2 shots, 2 threes. Scotty Wilbekin 3 shots, 3 threes. And great hustle by Finney Smith again from behind with those long arms to knock that ball out of bounds.
Brad, you can't get consumed with Patrick Young when he catches the ball inside that zone. You've got to stay attached to shooters. Now over here's the shooter. And you have got to be over in this area of the floor, but instead watch what happens. Ball goes to the post. You get stepped in. Boom. Late recovery. Frazier says, thank you very much.
And not only that, but that is smart play by Patrick Young.
Yes.
He has really learned the game over his 4 years and worked at it extremely hard, from free throws to defense to his hook shots with both hands, and then throwing, getting it out of there in the lane when he doesn't have anything to do.
Brad, as a freshman, he was Tarzan but he couldn't play. He could not play the game of basketball.
Looked like Tarzan, played like Jane.
Well, yeah, but now he's Tarzan that plays like Tarzan with a skill set. Now he's a good college player. A great testament to perseverance and hard work. Still the most popular guy on that Florida campus because he treats everybody the same.
And an academic All-American 2 years in a row. Brown feeds inside a post.
That is a problem for Florida in this game right now. The ability to guard the ball. The big guards of Missouri to take the ball to a two-footed paint touch.
Frazier. That one misses. The tip by Walker is off the mark as well. So finally, Frazier or Wilbekin misses a three.
The number of replays we show where the Missouri guards are driving right, starting to pile up. And they force you to step up just a little bit, and then the drop-off ability, this time it's by Brown. I like what the big guards of Missouri are doing, Brad. They're punching the gap. They're coming to a strong two-footed jump stop, and then making a pass against pressure.
That might be it for Devon Walker until halfway through the second half as far as coming off Billy Donovan's bench. That's 3 fouls. And there's what Jabari did yesterday. And again, we were kidding around saying he might have shot more free throws in competition yesterday than he does some days at practice. Frazier will sit out as well.
I loved hearing the Missouri coaching staff talking about how this guy prepares like a pro every single day. After win, after loss, after 2 straight games, whatever it is, he prepares like a pro every single day.
He's going to get a breather, well-deserved. 7 points to lead the way along with Ross for Missouri. Patrick Young, great spin move on the baseline. The big guy got away that time with a quick move in his first field goal.
The plays that he could not or would not make a couple of years ago.
Here comes a trap. Williams has been quiet offensively. Hasn't scored yet. Still hasn't. Nice rebound by Casey Hill with some long arms around him.
For the speed of Hill now, that's a difference maker, Brad. When he checks in, I love Scotty Wilbekin, but in terms of a transition point guard, Hill goes to another level.
And he did a nice job that way, taking it all the way in. The last time he got in transition, he pulled up and took a horrible jump shot. This time he drove all the way to the rim and gave Florida a 6-point lead back. Clarkson. He's pretty good in traffic in there.
Billy Donovan is. I wish Shannon could talk to Billy Donovan again and ask him about how they're guarding the ball, because they're not doing a good job of it. Blow by straight line drives. Very unusual for Florida to be giving them up.
If that pass wouldn't have been deflected, Wilbekin was launching another three. Prather, his game is to drive like that, but he hasn't gotten close to scoring a field goal yet. Florida maintains their lead.
At NC State, they swept Arkansas. They beat Tennessee. I think Missouri's in better shape than maybe some other folks think right now across the country.
Florida State, the Truck's letting us know, down 12 right now in the second half. Scotty Wilbekin at the free throw line for a 1-and-1. He doesn't miss too many. First shot he's missed, in fact, and it's all alone from 15 feet. So that gives it right back to Mizzou as we approach 2.5 in the half.
You have to remember, we have to have 68 teams in the tournament. So teams number 64, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Right.
There's going to be some bad spots on the resume.
Exactly. Brown, 7 to shoot. I'm not sure that's the guy you want taking the shot, but he missed it, and the rebound comes off to Prather.
Florida's so good, Brad, at staying in a stance in zone defense. Most teams, you go zone, they stand straight up and down except the guy on the ball, not Florida.
Big guy underneath, fouled on the baseline. And Patrick Young is going to go to the free throw line. And if that's a foul on Post, and it is, that's 3 on him. He's one of the starters and the biggest presence on the inside for Missouri. As we take a look at their tournament challenge resume, brought to you by Acura. Go to ESPN.com and sign up for the tournament challenge. 22-10, including the one they won yesterday. Their basketball power index at 47. So go back to Patrick Young on the free throw line. Florida, they struggle at times from the line, and that could catch up to them depending on who they've got shooting free throws at times. And Pat's done a good job to get up to be a 61% free throw shooter, up from about 49 a year ago. And he missed both. He's only 1 out of 4, so they leave it at 29-25. We haven't changed score now in a minute. But now Missouri's got to take advantage of it.
You go do curls in the weight room for 2 straight hours.
And then try to shoot a ball. Yeah, I hear you.
All I'm going to say about that.
There's a good pass inside, and Jonathan Williams scores uncontested his first field goal.
Frank Haith has to be very pleased with the balance that he has in his offense in this game between his guards and his bigs.
Finney Smith, a quick 3. Nobody there but Rossberg, and Missouri can tie or lead on this trip.
Missouri come down, move Florida, even in that zone. Set ball screens, reverse that basketball, find a gap and attack.
You can see Jabari Brown's almost itching for a jump shot, but they're doing a nice job of moving the ball around, using a little bit of clock here. They work it down to 10 to shoot. And the double on Brown right away. And then likewise on Clarkson, and Clarkson trying to get a timeout, and he got it with 2 seconds on the shot clock. So Missouri still got a chance, but now they're going to have to hustle to get a decent shot away as we're under a minute. Well, the most storied conference in college athletics has got a brand new network 24/7. Coming up in August, the SEC Network. Go to secnetwork.com and tell your network you want your TV provider to provide the SEC Network. You get more stuff like this. Going to have a ton of basketball games, some great football matchups, and all the rest 24/7. Right now, we're halfway through the first half, partner, almost. And I got to give Missouri credit. They had to play for almost 3 hours yesterday, and they got the #1 team in the country, and it's a 2-point ball game.
Brad, their offense has been good. Talking about Missouri, this was now their 7th trip where the shot clock gets below 10 seconds, so they are making Florida work defensively. Coming out of this timeout, you know one thing. Jabari Brown can make guarded shots because he's 6'5", and he has a little bit of a lean back. You know Frank Haith would love to get the ball in the hands of 32 in black. I don't think Florida will set back in this zone. I think they'll anticipate a pop out by Brown and not let him get a shot off.
Remember, 2 seconds is all they've got. Got to hustle just to get it in. Brown just fires away, and he almost got it. Hit the rim, and Wilbekin brings it to Prather in a hurry on the break. Prather, he's missed 3 of those inside. Wilbekin's going to back it out. There's about a 11-second difference on the shot clock and the game clock, and the wise senior point guard pulls it back out looking for a better shot than what they had. That wasn't a good shot either. Out to Missouri, and now they, with the shot clock off, have a chance to tie this thing up at halftime.
Well, Missouri has fought now. They understand. They, in terms of across the country, who has the best opportunity today in all of college ball is the team in black from Columbia, Missouri. And they're 2 points down with 31 to go in the first half against the #1 team in the country. Take the last shot of this half, don't turn it over, and you're in great shape.
Now Clarkson yesterday at the end of regulation, at the end of overtime, worked his way inside and came away empty from getting a decent shot. He's at the point right now. Let's see if they get it to somebody else to take what would be the final shot. Clarkson looks up at the remaining time, which is right now down to 10.
It will be a set play. Brown's the guy you have to shake. Ross is the second guy you have to shake.
Clarkson again finds himself in a little trouble, but today he finds Rossberg at the buzzer with a slam dunk. That's perfectly done.
Missouri ends on a 6-0 run. How good has Jordan Clarkson been with that basketball? I know he had a turnover the last possession because he tried to dance with it against traffic. But a late emergency find by Clarkson, Brad, because he's 6'5". This is an issue for Florida in this game. A late find and a good job by Rossberg to not run away from the basketball but run towards the rim. We've seen it now 3 times in this game. A big gets loose off of the dribble penetration of Missouri guard, and Clarkson finds it. Missouri is in this ball game, I think, to the finish. They are not going to go away. They have something working for them. It's the 3 guards' ability to get paint touches.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a half or a game end on a slam dunk where the ball didn't land before we saw triple zeros. We played a half, tied at 29. Time for the Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report as we head back to the studio. Anish Shroff and Dino Gaudio are standing by. Fellas, it's all yours. We got a good one going in Atlanta.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah, you sure do. 29 all at the half, and Jimmy Dykes made the point just a few moments ago.
Just doing it differently than usual
Yeah,
today.
they are. Scotty Wilbekin, it's what do you need today, coach, is what Scotty Wilbekin does for you. Brad, he's made all of his threes. He's got 2 assists, has not turned the ball over in 17 minutes because he plays the game with a great balance, a great base, and a great pace. So Scotty Wilbekin right now very comfortable in the Georgia Dome. Now his other teammates have turned the ball over some, and for Missouri, what have they continued to do? Their big guards, especially Clarkson, they're making plays inside the paint over the top of Florida. That time they closed out the half with a pass at the rim.
Got it to Rosberg for the flush at the buzzer to even it at 29-29. Second half set to begin. Can the #1 team in the country stay #1? Can Missouri pick off the #1 team in the country and be the first team in the last 24 games to beat the Gators? And that might punch the Tigers' ticket to the big dance. Missed by Young. Florida, I think, is going to try to establish something in the paint. They tried right there. They've gotten virtually nothing on the inside. It's all come from their three-point shooting.
Yeah, you know what? Patrick Young has taken guarded shots in this game.
Rosberg trying to go through Young and walked with it.
Interesting is Florida's press, Brad. In the first half, they put 11 press possessions on Missouri. Missouri only turned it over 1 time against those 11 press opportunities. But Florida did not score a point off of the turnover.
Only change in the starting lineup. Rosberg starting instead of Post. Here's Young. Finally got that hook to go. He caught it and got up a little bit quicker.
Brad, every year, Patrick Young has gone from a guy that could make a 2-foot jump hook to 3 feet to 4 feet to now 5 or 6 feet. He has progressed in terms of where he can release that shot and it goes in.
Ross gave up an open shot, or what appeared to be an open shot. Good balance by Missouri's guard. 6 points Clarkson, 7 for Brown and Ross in that first half. Eight on the shot clock. Jabari Brown had 3 Gators on him momentarily. Clarkson, pull-up jumper. Wilbekin alone for the rebound. And got a whistle and a foul on the inside.
A great rim run by Patrick Young, Brad, right down the middle of the floor and just buried Rosberg within the first 3 or 4 seconds of the possession.
Right now, Frank Hayes got issues because with this upcoming foul, that's the hook shot by Young, but the foul by Rosberg on that previous play gives him 3, and Post had 3 in the first half. So the big guys from Mizzou have issues.
And they've been productive in this game. I think they've combined for 9 points and 7 boards in the first 20 minutes. Frank Hayes will take those numbers in this half, I promise you.
You get all alone is going to try a 3-pointer. Now Frazier, he's the guy you want to take the 3-pointers.
3-point shots off of a post touch. I don't care if it's off of a true post touch or an offensive rebound post touch. They go in at a much higher percentage.
Rosberg blocked inside. Wilbekin 3-on-3. Try to do it himself. Blocked by Rosberg. So Rosberg does a nice job getting back down and swatting that one away. Florida, Frazier's got 3 threes. Wilbekin has 3 threes. And Finney-Smith's got 1. And now a whistle and a foul on Wilbekin.
Brad, again, a shot off of a post touch.
Excuse me, it's on Clarkson.
There's the post touch by Patrick Young. Although it's an offensive rebound, it still is a post touch because the defense is attracted to the low block. And you mentioned the hustle and the effort of Rosberg. Missouri is playing much harder than they had the past 2 weeks to close out the regular season.
Keep in mind, if you weren't with us yesterday, they had a marathon game, 2 overtimes to beat Texas A&M just to get to this point. Hill, a floater, got it.
Boy, Hill made him pay. Because Missouri says if you can dribble in and take up the slack and knock down a 12-foot shot, go ahead. Casey Hill says thank you and I will.
Biggest lead of the game for Florida right now at the 16:57 mark. Winner goes on to semifinal Saturday to meet either Tennessee or South Carolina. That's our second game this afternoon, and then Kentucky, LSU, and Georgia Ole Miss tonight. Missouri turns it over.
Florida's pressure had a little bit to do with that, but that one's on Missouri. They've handled this press well so far, but Florida is relentless in terms of Billy Donovan making his press hot and then backing it off and then making it hot again, keeping you out of rhythm.
If Florida scores on this possession and then applies more pressure, you got to start to wonder if Mizzou will start to cave. Just mentioned 2 overtimes, 3 hours of playing yesterday. Short turnaround, #1 team in the country that won't go away defensively. Got to start to wear on you. Frazier, contested 3-pointer, and Missouri's got the rebound.
I make this a long possession if I'm Missouri. They've been on this end of the floor for a while. I want to make Florida work defensively if you can.
Jabari Brown doesn't agree with you.
Oh.
He's got a lot of nice muscle shots, doesn't he?
Well, he got a knee into the left knee on that drive. He's trying to shake it off and play through it.
And Billy Donovan may have taken a timeout, or do we have an official's timeout? I think it's official timeout.
Again, Jabari Brown with a blow-by of Dorian Finney-Smith. Right there is where and he ran into the knee of Patrick Young, and that's like running into a fire hydrant.
A really tall one.
Yeah, but the blow-by ability of Clarkson and Brown and Ross in this game it's really surprised me that Florida has not been able to delete those straight-line drives.
Nice hustle by Clark, and he got it to Brown. Brown got bumped, no foul called. Yagette comes out of the pile with it.
And that was a ton of contact in transition. It did not get called. Missouri gets fouled at a high rate, about 25% of the time in transition. We talked about it yesterday.
Yagette, again, not a good pass. Oh, and Brown just collided with his own teammate again. It looks like a rugby game going on right now. Clarkson bumped, and he'll go to the free throw line. It was before the shot. Wilbekin picks up his second foul as we go to break with 15:25 remaining in the ball game. And a tie game at halftime. Frank Haith hasn't liked the first 4.5 minutes of the second half so far.
39. Ernest Ross played 48, and Rosberg played 37. So they do come in with some tired dogs right now. But again, no one in college basketball today has a better opportunity than the Missouri Tigers. They win this game, they punch their ticket regardless of what happens tomorrow in the semifinals. Mark it down.
They started off this half 1 for 3 from the floor, and they've got more turnovers than they have field goal attempts. Got 4 turnovers so far in the opening 5 minutes.
That ain't good, partner. Florida continues to ice the side action in Missouri, not let that ball get to the middle part of the floor.
They get it inside. Torrin Jones missed 124, missed the shot. 124 gets the rebound, and then the foul to boot. Jones, that is his third. So now Keanu Post, Ryan Rosberg, and Torrin Jones, the 3 big guys, with the exception of Jonathan Williams. 3 of the 4 big guys that play had foul issues with 15 minutes to play. Hill trying to lob. Boy, that's a tough catch for Patrick Young. He gets it back to Yagette. And now Frazier will back it out with a fresh shot clock. Casey Prather's had trouble inside today, too.
They're putting him in a crowd. They're making a guy that operates off 2 bounces play in a crowd.
And Jabari Brown got fouled on his way to the hoop.
Right, I love these numbers in transition for Missouri on the year. They're averaging 1.15 points per play in transition. They're a 56% field goal team in transition, a free throw rate of 24%, and they only turn it over 13% of the time. That's when they are at their best, and Florida has kept Missouri out of transition in the first half. It must continue the remaining 14:34.
Missouri on the bubble, according to Joe Lunardi. Part of the next 4 out. And a win would change all that. Jabari Brown got the second.
Joe Lunardi is as dialed in as anybody in the country. But I think Missouri is a little bit low right now if they're among the next 4 out.
Jabari Brown with his 3 points in this half. Jimmy has gone over the 1,000-point mark in a Missouri uniform. That's the kind of impact he has made offensively since he came over from Oregon.
Yeah. Frank Haith has blended transfers together beautifully since he's taken over at Columbia. And it's not easy to do. A lot of times transfers come in, Brad, with an agenda or with an issue. And he has done a good job at setting those individual agendas and issues aside.
You can talk about all three of his guards for that matter. Clarkson from Tulsa, Ernest Ross from Auburn, and we mentioned Brown from Oregon.
Brad, that was a big-time drive by Ernest Ross because the closeout was a clinic. The closeout of the drive by Dorian Finney-Smith, so he reads the closeout and then gets his shoulders in front of the waist, and then it's advantage Ernest Ross.
Right now there's discussion on whether or not a shooting foul or not. Now they're walking everybody back down to the lane. Tony Green says, come on, fellas. We've got players spread all over the court here.
Yeah, a foul should not be a 20-second timeout for coaches to talk to their guys. This is on official game administration right now. You've made the call, report the call, line up and shoot the free throws.
Well said, partner. And Ernest Ross has got 8. Now the mass substitutions by both sides. So Post comes in. Remember, he's playing with 3 fouls. The only one on the floor for Missouri now in foul issues is Keanu Post. Ernest Ross, big game yesterday. He had 24 points, went 9 out of 10 from the free throw line. Today, he's 4 for 4 from the stripe for 9 points thus far.
Brad, Ross can't get greedy as a three-point shooter. He's got to be greedy as a 6'5", 235-pound stud driving that basketball and getting on the offensive glass.
Prather, that's not his game either.
That's the shot that Missouri wants him to take. Now move the ball. You can hear Frank Haith. Move it, move it, move the ball. Make Florida work right now defensively.
Here's Ross on the drive Jimmy's talking about. Whoa. Threw it way up there. Didn't hit anything, so the shot clock is not reset. Post throwing it out of the post. And 10 on the shot clock. Brown going to have to go over Wilbekin with 4 to shoot. Missed the shot. And Pat Young gets a rebound and hits the deck all in one motion.
Boy, Florida can, when you have to clamp down and get a stop, Florida says, yes, sir, coach, we can get it done. Because Missouri ran really good action. They had some ball screens. They trapped the ball, the life of it, off of the block. That kind of summed up, to me, Florida's defense this year.
I would have loved to have heard what Wilbekin said to Patrick Young after he got that rebound and hit the deck. He said one of 3 things. Nice hustle, are you okay, or get your butt up.
Yeah.
Or all 3.
Probably all 3, knowing Scotty Wilbekin. You can only lead so far as a silent leader. If you're a silent leader, you're taking for granted guys have their eyes on you. Scotty Wilbekin has grown from a 17-year-old on a college campus to a very vocal, loud leader.
We approach 12 minutes in a 4-point game. Brown trying to drive through a double team. Going to kick it back out to Clarkson. 5 on the shot clock. He'll take it inside and score.
How good was a sidestep by Jordan Clarkson, again, to not feel the shot clock pressure to affect what he wanted to do. That's the 11th Missouri trip, Brad, in this ballgame so far, under 10 seconds. Very well done.
Let's see what kind of shot Florida gets out of this trip. Wilbekin baseline jumper. It's too strong. Out of bounds to Missouri. With 11:34 remaining, very much to make it a 2-point game. By the way, Florida was held under 60 points once this year. That was a loss to Wisconsin. They've got 38 right now. We've got 11:34 to play.
Florida has not lost a ball game all season long when they've been at complete strength. Scotty Wilbekin missed the Wisconsin game, and Casey Hill was out in their loss to UConn, and Wilbekin was out the last couple of minutes with an injury. Missouri's trying to take down the best team in college ball right now and punch their ticket.
Ross looks over to Coach Haith. And now they go to work with 12 on the shot clock. Clarkson scored on a drive the last time they had it. He's going to have to hurry. Ross will take a 3 that comes out, and Wilbekin with a rebound.
Wasn't a bad look. They used Ross as a ball screener, then let him pop, almost like a big stretch 4.
Frazier, not a good pass inside. He got lucky that it went off one of the Tigers.
And he is a dead-eye Danny of a shooter, talking about Frazier. But anything else right now in terms of his next step in development has to come with his ball skills as a handler and as a passer. And it will come. Billy Donovan, his staff, as good as anybody in the country in player development.
Three-guard offense out there right now for the Gators. With Hill, Wilbekin, and Frazier. 8 on the shot clock. Wilbekin had a look. He might have to hurry one now. He will. And missed it. You get. Nice hustle to get up there under, I should say, over Ross, who undercut him and picks up the foul.
How cool is Will You Get? Regardless of the coolest haircut in college ball, you get what you get from Will You Get. And what is that? Strong two-hand traffic rebounds that win you championships as a senior. Has checked his ego, not worried about points, not worried about minutes, worried about getting strong traffic rebounds to keep us in this ball game.
I'm not 100% sure on that foul. Nonetheless, Florida ball. Fresh shot clock. Almost the midway point of the second half.
I thought you were going to say you weren't 100% sure about the coolest haircut in college ball. You and I were going to have to arm wrestle at the next time out.
There's you get. He'll get you some of those too. And Wilbekin with a steal. The kick out. Scotty takes a three and got it. And just like that, they're up 7 again. An assist by Wilbekin to you get. A steal, the kick out, his 4th three of the game, and now the Gator fans are into it. Jabari Brown rimmed out a 3.
Florida can sense it in the building right now. They're a basket away from really putting pressure on Missouri.
Patrick Young. And just like that, it's 7 straight points, and Missouri's got to take a timeout. The #1 team in the country showing their resilience and showing why they're #1. Their biggest lead of the ball game. Just when Missouri had made a run to cut it to 2, it's 45.
Billy Donovan can slap his press on in different versions, but anytime a big scores at the rim, whether it's Young or You Get or Walker, boom, the press is automatically on. There you see You Get. He scores, he puts the fists up, and now the press is extremely hot. They clamp off everything. Wilbekin shoots the gap, and in a period of about 9 seconds, they put 5 points on the board. Billy Donovan trusts his seniors, his older team. He doesn't even have to make a call. At big scores, the press gets hot, heat up the building, and it works for Florida to get on a run.
Now full court pressure coming out of the timeout. And this is where we'll see how resilient the Tigers are. Do they melt now or not? Down 9 with 9 to play. This is the biggest hole they've been in all day.
And what's been Missouri's best offense in this game? It's been Clarkson and Brown driving the basketball, getting a shot up on the rim, maybe getting fouled.
Clarkson tried to get there and turned it over.
Never made that Florida defense move. Florida had a guy on the ball and 2 white jerseys staring down Clarkson when he put it on the deck. That will not work.
And a foul underneath. It's on post. No, it's not going to be. It'll be on Williams. That's only his first. Casey Prather's only points today have come from the free throw line, 2 in the first half. And he's Florida's leading scorer.
What I love about Casey Prather, Brad, this is a kid that was really down on the bench. You know, his first 3 years on that Florida campus, but he didn't run from adversity. He showed perseverance. And now he has one of the quicker, more elusive, fallible games in the college game. A great testament to toughness from Casey Prather this year.
Clark trying to get around You Get and around Hill. And going to be a foul on Casey Hill, his second. Talk about getting better every year. There you go.
That's also a testament to Billy Donovan's staff. I talked about it a couple of minutes ago. Their player development. Casey Prather wasn't capable of being a 14-point scorer the first couple of years.
approaching the 8-minute mark. And Mizzou get a good shot off here. Gonna have to hurry now. Inside hook shot, probably not what they wanted. Williams battling for the rebound. They, not only they not score, they end up with a foul as well. Florida trying to pull away. 7:56 to go. Top ranks right now. 4-minute scoring drought for Mizzou. And Florida has done what Florida has done to 23 straight opponents. Just when they get challenged, they find a way, be it defense, offense, the press, the field goals in this case. 7 out of 17 in the second half. And here they are leading by 11.
And Florida's press now is starting to have an effect on this ball game, not just in terms of a couple of turnovers that they've gotten, but this is the Florida team that so far in this game, they put the press on 16 times. They forced 3 Missouri turnovers. They've only got 5 points off of them, but it's an accumulation of the pressure that Florida puts on you over a 40-minute ball game that really gets into you mentally and into your legs those last few minutes.
And not only that, they've got those 4 senior starters out there right now, and they know how to play at crunch time. Although you got missed in close. Now let's see if the Tigers can find some offense. Clarkson and Jabari Brown have been most of it. Ross isn't out there right now. Oh, there's a bad pass. Wilbekin almost stole it. Brown goes to the deck. Who's going to come up with it? Florida.
Scotty
Wilbekin scrapped for it and then got a timeout.
Brad, his toughness, out of all the things I could say about Scotty Wilbekin, his toughness beats you game in and game out. You can talk about his improved three-point shooting. You can talk about his assist-to-turnover ratio. All the great base that he plays with. His toughness, every coach in the league will tell you, is something that they know going in we're going to have to deal with. Pound your chest, Scotty Wilbekin. Yes, you're one tough dude.
Player of the year. Showing why. 7:12 remaining. Still Gators by 11. We're in the SEC tournament here in Atlanta. The Big 12 tournament continues. The #1 seed Kansas taking on Iowa State in one semifinal. And #7 seed Baylor looks to continue its run. They'll take on #3 Texas. Big 12 tournament. And that follows our afternoon of action on ESPNU tonight from Kansas City.
Important tournament in terms of Kansas potentially playing their way into a #1 seed with a loss that Villanova suffered yesterday. Every ball game you will watch the next 3 days of great impact.
There's a nail pounded into the Missouri coffin right there.
He's just the guy. He is just the guy. He owns it from the film session till the final buzzer goes off on a game. And all great point guards do it.
12 points in the last 3 minutes for Florida. Scotty Wilbekin has 5 field goals. They're all threes. And Mizzou's got to find an answer, and they've got to hurry in doing so. Foul's going to be on Michael Frazier.
His first personal foul, team foul number 5 for Florida. And for Missouri, number 44, Brian Rosberg.
And this will be out of bounds on the baseline to the Tigers. Rosberg got an easy touch on the inside, but he'll bring it back out.
Missouri's got to keep fighting. Even if they win, even if they lose this ball game, how they close out this game, I think is very important. I'm not convinced that if they lose today that there's no way that they're in. When I go back and look at the other teams that they're going to be compared to and the quality wins that they've had, it's important for them to not just get stuck right now in this ball game and not finish it out and keep pressure on Florida. I think there's a perception right now with the selection committee with their eyes on this game.
Brown back at the free throw line. You know, I said about 3 minutes ago, would they melt? And I think at least it's getting hotter in here, and it's getting hotter on them right now.
Yep.
There's their resume as Jabari Brown hits 2 more free throws.
It will be a test of Missouri's toughness right now and their will to fight, regardless of the overtime, 2 overtimes yesterday. What will they do the remaining 6 minutes in this game to still maybe give himself a chance?
Pat Young got fouled hard as he went up on the baseline. That's going to be on Williams, who didn't have a foul in the first half and now has 3. And Patrick Young will go back to the free throw line. Jimmy, if I was Frank Haith, if they could get it down to single digits at the 4-minute mark, they got another run in them probably.
Sure they do. That's what he has to convince his guys of. And I think Clarkson, Brown, and Ross, they feel like that they can stay in this game right now.
Patrick's missed 4 straight free throws. There's his numbers on the day. Playing in his 143rd game in a Gator uniform.
Got that ball all lined up on the shooting side of his body. I just think it's because of his hand strength and his arm strength. It's just not easy for him to shoot the ball away from the rim. So there's nothing wrong at all with his mechanics. None. That picture just showed it as well as we can show it.
That's what I always said about Shaq. His hands were too big. Like holding onto a baseball to try to shoot a free throw. Here's another steal by the Gators. Wilbekin, the lob to Prather, and he missed it, but he'll go to the line.
Oh, they can put it on you in a hurry. Talking about Florida putting the ball on the defense in transition quickly. Prather, and you get Dorian Finney-Smith, Young. They can all get out and will get out and run. And Wilbekin, how low he plays and such a strong base, continues to impress me. And no team in the country that I've seen this year plays a zone defense down in a stance more consistently than the Florida Gators.
Casey Prather, not known as a great free throw shooter. Today he has been. 5 for 5.
Well, there was a stretch that this kid was getting the free throw stripe 8 times per game. He takes 0 bad shots. 0. I'm not sure if you want to do it tonight with me in my room, we can go back and watch the last 5 games and see if we find a bad shot by Casey Prather.
I saw one earlier, so I think I'll just pass.
Okay.
Baseline drive, and Ross, extra pass to Clarkson. Missed the 3. Finney-Smith with a rebound.
Now, those are the ones that Missouri has to make a couple right now. Even some guarded shots early in the shot clock. They have to find a way to get a couple of those to drop. Brown would be my first choice in taking it.
So now we're a minute away from that 4-minute mark that we were talking about. And Missouri hasn't got any closer yet. See if they can this trip. Whoa. Clark threw everybody and then had it blocked. Prather. Wow, that was smooth.
Right, just like that, Florida erases what looks like an automatic 2 with a long reach of Dorian Finney-Smith, and then within 3 seconds of their own shot clock, they're putting it on you at the other end.
And now I'm not sure that Missouri can find a way. 16 down, biggest deficit. Jabari Brown, nice drive to the hoop. He's done his job. Unfortunately, offensively, the rest of his teammates haven't. And then Frazier comes back down and says, you got 2, we got 3.
Very well done by Casey Hill to drive the ball at Frazier. A little bit of a drag screen action all by himself as the ball handler, then the simple pitch behind. Frazier in rhythm.
How demoralizing is that? You come down, you get a quick bucket, you go, good, we've cut it a little bit closer. And then Frazier just snaps one off on you on the other end. Gators by 17. Gators going to the free throw line to go up 19. They didn't get to single digits, did they, at the 4-minute mark? Don't forget, South Carolina had to play a couple. Just SEC tournament. Leading scorers for Missouri in the first half. Clarkson, Brown, and Ross, those 3 dangerous guys at 6, 7, and 7. And Jabari Brown, really the only guy that's done much scoring in the second half. And now they desperately need it. Jimmy, 8 minutes ago, it was a 2-point game. Right now, it's Florida by 17.
That's the power of the punch that Florida can deliver. Remember in the first half, I said Billy Donovan has a problem. It's guarding the ball, the straight line drive ability of those guards. So he's played a ton of zone in this half to take away those straight line drives in Missouri. Missouri has fought hard in this ball game, Brad. I know they're down 17. They have fought extremely hard. If they were to lose this game and not make the NCAA tournament, they have no one to blame but themselves. This is not the same fight factor and the same fight level that we've seen from Missouri consistently January and February. If they don't get in, they have no one to blame but themselves.
Casey Prather just keeps knocking down free throws. 7 for 7. Including his field goal. This will put him in double figures. He averages 14.6 a game, which is actually a leading scorer for Florida. You'd think it'd be somebody higher than that for the #1 team in the country, but they have great balance with Wilbekin and Frazier both around the 13 mark. Pat Young around 11.
Seems I remember a national champion out of this league that had similar numbers a couple of years ago. The Kentucky Wildcats all shared that ball and shot it between 8 and 10 times a game.
Rebound, Finney Smith, 3.5 to play. Frazier, pull up 3. Yes. Wow. So he and Wilbekin each have 5 threes, and it's 21-point lead for Florida.
Where's the weakness? What's the blueprint to beat Florida? That still has not been put up on the board. And every coach in the country, every coach in this league is trying to figure it out as that selection Sunday is quickly approaching.
Prather, a wraparound inside to Finney Smith. Nice look.
Now Missouri's quick guard. Now Missouri has quick guard in this game, and it's going to end up being a 25, 26 point, whatever Florida wants it to be type game.
And I'm thinking that Billy Donovan is going to start pulling starters here shortly. Jabari Brown is not done yet. He's going to fight to the finish. 16 for Jabari.
Red, you've heard me say it before. Great teams, they fix the problem today. They fix the problem right now. And the problem is not threes going into this building for Florida. But Billy Donovan had a problem in the first half, and they fixed the problem within this game. They didn't have to go to tomorrow's practice or the film session. And I think all great teams have that ability to fix the problem right now. Good coaches can identify the problem. Great coaches can fix the problem. Good teams can identify it. Great teams can also fix it.
They had issues in the first half trying to get points in the paint. They've come out now and had 11 three-pointers in the ball game. Beg your pardon, they've got 12 three-pointers in the ball game. And that is not what they've done all year, but they know how to adjust, and that's just what they had to do today.
You have to know in March sometimes what loses games as much as what wins games. And I see coaches, when the conference tournament pops up, they get out of their rhythm. Billy Donovan didn't do it. What's he done all season long? He flies in the evening before the game, and they have their routine. He didn't bring his guys up here on Tuesday or Wednesday morning and walk around town and everyone and tell them how good they are. No, he kept them within a routine, trusting the senior leadership of his ball club to be dialed in and ready to possibly cut down the nets in Atlanta.
Now to a minute 45. Skywalker shows a little bit of what the freshman might be able to do in the future in a Gator uniform.
At some point, he will be a first-round pick, if not a lottery pick. It won't be after this year, but you'd be amazed how much better that dude gets in one full season in Billy Donovan's off-season program.
Defensively, he's going to pick up a foul there on a nice drive by Clarkson. Clarkson's in double figures now. Here's Chris Walker.
Yeah, what's he going to be, Brad, going forward for this ball club? Right now, he's about a 5 or 6 minute guy. But I think you're going to see times maybe in that NCAA tournament where he has to put a good 10 to 12 minutes on the board if Patrick Young gets in foul trouble.
We mentioned it was the regular season game between these two teams when he made his debut in his Gators uniform in Gainesville. That drew an unbelievable response from the Rowdy Reptiles and the rest of the folks in the O-Dome. Here he is again, crossing the lane with one hand, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Remember, he's 6'10 and a half and weighs about 218 pounds right now. But his ability to control his body jumped out at me last year when I saw him during the Jordan Brand All-American game. A unique piece that Billy Donovan has to work with over the next 3 weeks, getting better every single day.
Jabari Brown on the cross with the left hand, trying to get it off the glass. We'll draw the foul and go back to the free throw line again.
Foul charge to Chris Walker.
So Florida's going to meet either South Carolina or Tennessee. What did they do against those teams? Well, you don't have to ask the question in the conference play because they didn't lose a game. 74-58 and 72-46, pretty similar against South Carolina.
Out of those two ball clubs, the team that matches up the best, I think is pretty obvious, is Tennessee because of the physical style of defense that Conzo Martin could throw at Florida.
One of those games relatively close on February 11th. Down to a minute. Under one and number one soon to advance here in the SEC tournament. It was in doubt at halftime. It was tied at 29. And now the Gators showing why they are not only the number one seed here, but the number one team in the nation with what they did in the second half.
Brad, if it was in question, I think the win today solidifies, I think, Florida as the overall number one seed in the NCAA tournament. I don't think it was in doubt anyways, but I think this says we're done with that. Move on to something else.
This is going to be win number 24 in a row. 24 in a row. And now they can just pull it out. Casey Hill can take his time. Billy Donovan says, hold the phone, fellas. Just get it in the front court. Missouri's season will end at 22-11, or will it end? It won't end completely, but will they make the NCAA tournament? Their SEC run is done. Florida goes on. So the top-ranked team in the country, courtesy of Scotty Wilbekin and Michael Frazier and company, go on a tear in the last 10 minutes of the ball game, and they win it 72-49. So there they are. Semifinal Saturday, game one on ABC tomorrow. Who will it be, Tennessee or South Carolina? We're going to find out that answer coming up in about 2.5 hours. 2014 SEC basketball tournament will continue in around 25 minutes with game 8 between South Carolina and Tennessee. Anish and Dino are back in the studio. That'll wrap it up for us. We'll see you in about a half an hour. Gators in a rout.
All right, Brad, we look forward to it. We'll get you back out to the Georgia Dome. Florida smashes Missouri in the second half. Missouri